For decades, people have been arguing who is Spider-Man's most iconic villain. From Green Goblin, Venom, Doc Ock, Kingpin, anybody you could think of. And after reading this series, I think it's J. Jonah Jameson. So after 30 videos straight, I get to review one of Spider-Man's most iconic stories, and that is Spider-Man No More. And I've always wondered, how did we get to this iconic picture? The picture of Peter Parker walking away from his spider suit that is in the trash. It is a picture that has been done in different art forms. We saw it briefly in Spider-Man 2. It is a story that I'm just like, okay, well, we know how we got it in Spider-Man 2, but we've never seen how it got to the comics. So I was able to read this, and it's almost similar, minus the whole existential crisis that Toby went through. And here, pretty much J. Jonah Jameson just was trying so hard for the world to see Spider-Man as a menace, in a world where the Fantastic Four and other characters in the Marvel universe are being praised. Spider-Man's one that's always being questioned whether he's a hero or a menace to society. Even though he is stopping a lot of crimes, he's also failing at it. And in the process, Peter Parker is failing at life. He is failing school. Aunt May's not doing so good. He's just down on his luck, and nobody seems to just be helping him. He's just on his own. So much so that it just takes off, and it just it really made Peter give up, and he basically just said, you know what, I'm done. I can't fix my life. I'm trying my best, and the world just turned their back on me. He could have gone evil, and he didn't, because, he was a symbol of something. As we all know, with great power comes great responsibility. But here, he was just done, man. And I can relate to that. There's times where I'm just down in luck with my videos, with my podcast, with everything I do. And it's just you want to give up sometimes. And I think that's why people love this story so much, because it related to a lot of people. Now, I don't really think that this really was a full-fledged story without reading the next couple of comics, which involve Spider-Man taking on the Kingpin, and also Spider-Man saving J. Jonah Jameson. So let's talk about this, no? I always wondered what the aftermath was from the picture of Peter Parker throwing away the Spider-Man suit, and turns out that it's similar to the movie, but instead of a homeless guy finding the suit, it was a random child just finding the suit, giving it to J. Jonah Jameson. J. Jonah Jameson is so excited to have the suit, he's given up. I beat Spider-Man. And little that we know that more crime was going to happen because of this, and chaos has broken loose, and it took Peter Parker to kind of be you know what? I can't let this happen to my city. I have to continue doing what I do and save the city. And that's why we get Kingpin involved, because we need a big villain. We don't need a grand villain that's going to destroy the earth and stuff like that. We sometimes need simple villains. And I think what I loved about Spider-Man is that we had a variety of different Spider-Man villains, so we didn't have to always stick to the similar stories. We had levels. We had, earth-shattering villains to minor league characters, and then there's street level villains. So there was a variety of different Spider-Man villains, and I think that's what helped. And I think Kingpin being involved in this was the best thing that could have happened. He was the iconic crime boss of crime bosses. I mean, have you seen Daredevil? I mean, he is the GOAT when it comes to crime boss. And here, Spider-Man and Kingpin are basically at it, and in the process, J. Jonah Jameson gets tangled into all of this and even gets kidnapped. So much so that Spider-Man has to sacrifice himself in order to save J. Jonah Jameson. He doesn't die. He does not die, but in this other comic that we see, we're like, is Spider-Man gonna die in order to save J. Jonah? Maybe things are gonna change, but J. Jonah can't help himself, but like still hates Spider-Man in the process. So there's one of those things where like you just know that J. Jonah and Spider-Man will never get along, despite everything, and they did a good job. There are some comics where J. Jonah finds out that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Um, but here we don't get that, but we do get him being saved from the Kingpin. And, we really do have to question J. Jonah. Like, honestly, when I think of J. Jonah, I think of J.K. Simmons. Like, that character is just, it was just destined to just be the same guy. Like, there's a reason why he was cast by the same actor in the Spider-Man Tom Holland series. Because J. Jonah Jameson doesn't know who Spider-Man is, he sees him as a menace. He doesn't see him as a hero. He just sees him as like a vigilante type of character, which I can kind of see why he would think that. And I really do think that this has a lot of great points as to why J. Jonah is very important to Spider-Man, because we need that person to balance whether or not we agree with Spider-Man or don't, and that makes Spider-Man much more valuable when we don't have him, if I'm making sense. The story isn't perfect. I do kind of wish that we do have more of an idea of why J. Jonah hates Spider-Man. I know over time we do get that, but it still doesn't take away how relatable the story is. Maybe sometimes people are just meant to be hated and meant to be loved. I mean, that happens to all celebrities, if I'm being honest. I really did enjoy the story. Not a perfect story, but really good. It's almost an A plus, but not really. I'll give it an A because it's still really iconic. That picture with the trash is still one of the most famous Spider-Man images of all time, and I still really enjoy the story, and I really appreciate the effort that they try to do. 30 videos straight. I got one more to go. I got one more left in me, and I'm done with this series, and it's going to be Spider-Man No Way Home. But I'm not going to review the theatrical version. I am going to review the extended version, which I have never seen until today. So I have a lot to share about that, and I cannot wait to talk about it with all of you and wrap up this series. So anyways, thank you for following me, and I'll see you tomorrow for one more swing.